Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly before anything else. God is watching, not in a way designed to produce fear, in a way designed to produce change. Because what he is watching right now in your life is specific. It is not your faithfulness in general. It is not your attendance record in the things of the Spirit. He is watching a particular pattern, a pattern that has been developing quietly below the surface of the life you are presenting to the world. A pattern that he has been extraordinarily patient with. And I am being sent to tell you today that there is a threshold approaching. And what happens at that threshold depends on what you do with this word. What God gave you was not given casually. The calling he placed in your life, the gifts he activated in your spirit, the specific arrangement he has been building around you across years and seasons and through more difficulty than anyone watching from the outside could fully calculate. None of it arrived by accident, and none of it is maintained automatically. There is a condition on the fullness of it, not a condition on his love, which is unconditional and does not shift. A condition on the fullness of what was given, continuing to flow through a life that is honoring the weight of what it received. When the pattern he is watching is allowed to continue, what was given does not simply remain where it is, it finds somewhere else to go. I want to say that plainly, because the chosen one who is receiving this word needs to hear it plainly. God removes what was given when the person it was given to stops treating it with the gravity it deserves. This is not a threat. It is a principle that is woven through every example of calling and stewardship in the text that governs this universe. And the reason this word is being sent to you today is that the pattern God is watching has not yet reached the point of removal. There is still time to stop it. But the word is urgent, and the word is now. Let me name the 3 things God is watching in the life of the chosen one this message is for. The first is the drift toward comfort at the cost of calling. There is a specific temptation that arrives in the life of someone who has been through a long and difficult formation season, and it does not look like rebellion. It looks like rest. It looks like being realistic. It looks like wisdom about what is sustainable. The temptation is to settle, to accept a version of the life that is manageable, that is peaceful, that does not require the full and costly engagement of everything God placed in them. The gifts are still being used. The anointing is still present and visible, but it is operating at a fraction of its designed capacity. Not because the assignment has ended, but because the person has allowed the accumulated weight of the formation to justify a retreat into something smaller. God is watching this drift, and the word is clear. Stop the retreat before what was given to you is reassigned. The second is the pattern of treating sacred assignments as ordinary obligation. The chosen one who entered their calling with full fire, who was originally unmistakably on fire for what God placed in them, who somewhere in the middle of the long road began to treat what was sacred as merely routine. Prayer becomes habit without presence. Obedience becomes performance without connection. The gift is being exercised, but the fire that was given with it, the fire that made it powerful and specific and recognizable to the people it was meant to reach, has been allowed to dim. God is watching the gap between the outer expression and the interior condition. And the word is this: the outer expression without the interior fire is not sustainable indefinitely. And what he gave to someone on fire does not stay fully alive in the hands of someone going through motions. The third thing God is watching is the erosion of spiritual receptivity. There is a specific kind of loss that the chosen one, who has been operating in survival mode, does not immediately recognize. The receiver through which what God is saying reaches them with clarity, the internal instrument that was once sharp and directional and able to receive the specific instruction and feel the specific pull, has been gradually compromised. Not through sin, not through rebellion, not through sin, not through rebellion. through the accumulation of output without adequate restoration. Through the relentless cost of carrying what was assigned without the restoration the carrier needs. The signal from God has not changed, but the capacity to receive it clearly, to distinguish the precise instruction from the general noise, has been degrading. And God is watching this erosion because He has specific things He is trying to communicate right now. The interference is the problem. Type stop in the comments if any of those three landed, because what you felt when they were named is the confirmation that this word reached the right person. And what follows is not condemnation. It is the specific diagnosis that makes the cure available. Before we go further, I want to hold something in front of you. Over the past several years, a research team in New York, led by a neurologist who has devoted 20 years to this area, found something specific about what happens to the mind of someone operating in the three patterns we just named. Not a theological observation, a neurological one. And what they found is directly relevant to the chosen one who just recognized themselves in this diagnosis. I am going to tell you what they found later in this message, but I want you to hold one question right now. What if the three patterns God is watching are not primarily a spiritual problem or a character problem, but a problem with the condition of the receiver? And what if that problem has a specific address and a specific solution that requires 8 minutes a day? Hold that. The three patterns we named are not separate problems. They are three expressions of a single underlying cause. And I want to go deep into that cause now, because the chosen one who only addresses the symptoms without addressing the root will find themselves in the same patterns again within months. What God is watching is not primarily the behavior. He is watching the condition that is producing the behavior. Here is the root cause. The interior instrument through which the chosen one receives divine instruction, feels the pull of the calling, and sustains the fire that makes the gift recognizable. That instrument operates at a designed level of capacity, and that capacity has been operating below its design for longer than you know. Not because God withdrew, not because the assignment was rescinded, because the instrument that receives what God is sending has been gradually compromised by the accumulated cost of the formation season and the pace at which the life you are carrying has been moving. Think of it this way. The chosen one who drifts toward comfort is not lazy, they are depleted. The chosen one who begins treating sacred assignments as routine is not irreverent, they are exhausted. The chosen one whose spiritual receptivity has been eroding is not spiritually immature. They are running a powerful calling through a receiver that has been operating below the capacity it was designed to operate at. And the behaviors that God is watching are the downstream indicators of that upstream condition. Address the upstream condition, and the downstream behaviors change without the kind of effort that the depleted person cannot sustain. Moses understood the problem of operating in comfort better than almost anyone in the sacred text. When we encounter him at the burning bush, he has been in a comfortable routine for 40 years. He left the palace. He left the calling that seemed obvious, the position that seemed to be his by birth and formation. He went into the wilderness, married, settled, began a life as a shepherd in a land that was not his. 40 years of ordinary, 40 years of a life that was sustainable and predictable, and entirely below the scope of what he had been built for. And then something burned, something that was not consumed by the burning, something that was strange enough, specific enough, impossible enough to be explained by the ordinary, that he turned aside to look. And in the turning aside, in the act of giving attention to the thing that was interrupting the comfort of the routine, the conversation that would define not only his own life but the liberation of an entire people began. What I want you to see about Moses is this. The 40 years in the wilderness were not wasted. The formation that happened in the quiet was real and was necessary. But the assignment Moses was built for could not be fulfilled from within the comfort of the routine. God did not send the burning bush to affirm that the shepherd life was the assignment. God sent the burning bush to call him out of it. The burning bush moment in the life of the chosen one is the moment when something specific interrupts the comfort of where they have settled. Something that should not be burning, but is. Something that should be consumed by the pressure of the life being lived, but refuses to go out. That interruption is what this word is, and the question it is asking is the same question the burning bush asked Moses. Are you willing to turn aside and give your full attention to what is being said? Because what God wants to say to you right now is not a general encouragement, it is a specific instruction. And specific instructions require a receiver that can hear with precision. The Hebrew word I want to anchor this section in is shamar. It appears in the text over 400 times. It means to keep, to guard, to watch carefully, to steward what was entrusted to you with a specific kind of ongoing attention. And when God placed what he placed in your life, he placed it with the expectation that it would be shmered, watched, guarded, kept in the condition it was given in, not allowed to drift, not allowed to sit in comfort until it becomes ordinary, shmered. What God is watching right now is whether you are shmaring what he gave you. And the word he is sending today is not a condemnation of the drifting. It is a call to return to the active guarding of what was placed in your hands. The specific mechanism by which the receiver degrades is something that research has now confirmed in remarkable detail. The human brain was designed to operate with the two hemispheres in synchronization. When they are synchronized, the whole brain is activated. When the whole brain is activated, the capacity for clarity of direction, for the sharp distinction between the sacred and the ordinary, for sustained fire in the place of the calling, operates at its designed level. When the synchronization is eroded, which happens through prolonged pressure, through sustained survival mode living, through the accumulated output cost of carrying a large assignment, all of those capacities begin to degrade. The chosen one who is drifting toward comfort is experiencing the drift, partly because the synchronized state that makes the calling feel compelling and alive has been eroded. The chosen one, treating sacred things as routine, is partly experiencing that pattern because the interior state that once made every engagement with the sacred feel charged and clear has been compromised. The chosen one, whose receptivity has been degrading, is experiencing that degradation partly at a neurological level, not only a spiritual one. This means the cure is not primarily more effort. More pressure on someone whose receiver is already compromised does not restore the receiver. What restores the receiver is what restores the synchronization, and that is what is coming in the next section. Now, I want to give you the 3 solutions, because Archetype D, the problem-solution framework, is not complete in naming only the problem and the root. The chosen one who came to this message needs to leave with something actionable, something that does not require more willpower from someone who is already depleted, but that addresses the actual cause at the level where the actual cause lives. The first solution is what I call re-engaging the altar of specific attention. Moses could not receive the burning bush instruction while he was moving through the routine. He had to stop. He had to turn aside. He had to give his full and specific attention to what was interrupting the ordinary. For the chosen one whose sacred assignments have become routine, the first solution is not to generate more motivation or more emotion. It is to return to the altar of specific, undivided, present attention. To choose one moment in the next 48 hours where the engagement with the calling is given the kind of attention it received when it was new, not performance, presence. The fire responds to presence in a way it does not respond to obligation. The second solution is the re-identification of what was given as gift rather than task. The chosen one who is treating the assignment as obligation has unconsciously reclassified what was given as something they owe rather than something they received. The correction is not motivational, it is taxonomic. The assignment was a gift. It was given with love and with specific design and with full knowledge of who the person receiving it would be and what they would need. Returning to the gift frame, specifically naming what was given as something God chose to place in your particular hands out of all the people who could have received it, changes the interior relationship with the assignment from obligation to response, and response has fire. Obligation does not. The third solution is the one that addresses the root cause at the level where the root cause actually lives. This is the solution that the other two cannot fully produce alone, because the other two operate at the level of choice and frame and attention, and those are real and important. But the receiver that receives what God is saying with clarity, that sustains the fire of the calling without the fire becoming routine, that makes the distinction between the sacred and the ordinary with the sharpness that the chosen one was designed for, that receiver operates at a neurological level as well as a spiritual one. You have been listening to this message for approximately 25 minutes. The person who is still here at this point is not the person who needed a general encouragement about God loving them. That person left a long time ago. You are still here because something in you recognized that the diagnosis we named was accurate, and you need not just an inspiration, but a specific solution. Type, "I am still here" in the comments, if that is you, because the word that is coming is the one that addresses the receiver directly. Now, I want to close the loop that has been open since the beginning of this message. I told you early on that a research team in New York found something specific about what happens to the mind of someone operating in the 3 patterns we named. And I told you to hold a question. What if this is not primarily a spiritual problem or a character problem, but a condition of the receiver? Here is what they found. And before I give you the full answer, I want to give you the specific shape of what you are about to receive. Because the chosen one who has been hearing this diagnosis is not being told that what God gave them is being removed today. They are being told that the patterns that lead to removal are in motion, and that there is a specific intervention available that addresses the receiver at the level the receiver needs to be addressed. What you are about to hear is not a product pitch. It is the third solution, and it is the most direct path from where you are right now to the version of the calling that God placed in you when He placed it. Here is what was discovered and why it changes everything about the 3 patterns we named. Dr. Roger Sperry received the Nobel Prize in 1981 for his research on the 2 hemispheres of the human brain. His research proved that the 2 hemispheres were designed to operate in synchronization. When they do, the brain enters what is called whole brain activation, the state that is natural in childhood, the state in which 98% of children operate, the state in which less than 1 in 1,000 adults maintain. Not because the capacity was removed, because modern life erodes the synchronization through sustained pressure, through survival mode living, through the accumulated cost of carrying what the chosen one carries. This means the receiver that receives what God is sending, the interior instrument through which the sacred is distinguished from the ordinary, the fire that makes the calling feel alive and specific and different from the ordinary. All of these have a neurological dimension as well as a spiritual one, and the neurological dimension can be directly addressed. What Dr. Daniel Barone, a neurologist in New York, built over 20 years of work is a targeted auditory sequence of 8 minutes designed to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation. That was the default state of the receiver you were born with. 8 minutes a day, headphones, eyes closed. The result is a receiver that functions at the level the calling requires. Type, "I receive the solution" in the comments if you are ready for what comes next. Here is what you now know that you did not have language for when this message began. The 3 patterns God is watching are not signs of spiritual failure. They are downstream symptoms of a receiver operating below its designed capacity. The specific insight is this: whole brain synchronization is the neurological foundation of spiritual receptivity. When it is eroded, the chosen one experiences comfort drift, routine treatment of the sacred, and degrading clarity of direction, not because they stopped caring, because the instrument through which they receive and sustain what God is sending has been operating below design. The specific action available to you is what Dr. Barone built. 8 minutes a day of targeted auditory sequence grounded in Nobel Prize research to restore the synchronization. The condition under which it produces results is consistent daily use. The expected output is a receiver that functions at the level the calling requires, with the clarity and fire and sharp distinction between sacred and ordinary that the chosen one was designed to operate with. The identity that connects this entire diagnosis is this: you are the chosen one who was given something worth watching and worth guarding and worth restoring the receiver for. The fact that this word reached you today is not incidental. It is the signal that the window for the restoration is open, and that what God gave you is still present and still real, and still assigned to your hands. There is a study that won the Nobel Prize in 1981, not from a seminary, not from a theological institution, from a research laboratory. The researcher was Dr. Roger Sperry, and what he and his team confirmed is that the two hemispheres of the human brain were designed to work together. When they do, the brain enters whole brain activation. The state of childhood, the state of 98% of children on the planet. The state of less than 1 in 1,000 adults, not because adults are deficient, but because the sustained pressure of modern life, the accumulated cost of carrying large assignments, the survival mode operation that the formation season often requires, erodes the synchronization over time. A woman from California described what it felt like before she encountered what I am about to name. She was a person of sincere faith. She had done everything available to her, and she described the channel of connection with God as something that had been open and immediate and clear in her younger years and had gradually become quiet. Not because she had stopped believing, because the receiver had degraded. After 10 days of what I am about to describe, she said, something cleared. The sacred became immediate again. She said it was not because she tried harder, because the receiver was restored. A man from Texas described something that will be familiar to the chosen one carrying a large calling through a depleted interior. He said prayer had started to feel like speaking into a wall. He was obedient. He was present. But the fire that had made his engagement with the sacred feel alive and directional had dimmed. 2 weeks later, he said the fog that had been so consistent, he stopped recognizing it as fog, was gone. That is because of what the team Dr. Barone leads built. Dr. Daniel Barone is a neurologist in New York who spent 20 years on a single question: can the synchronization be restored simply and without extraordinary effort from someone who is already carrying too much? What he and his team built is an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence grounded in the Nobel Prize research of Dr. Roger Sperry, designed to reconnect the two hemispheres and restore the whole brain activation that was the default state of your childhood receiver. They call it the genius switch. It is not a brainwave product, not a meditation track, not a sound designed to alter your mood. It is a targeted sequence built from 20 years of clinical refinement, specifically engineered for hemisphere synchronization at the whole brain level, the level at which the receiver that receives what God is sending is restored to its designed capacity. The genius switch is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who understands that shmaring what God gave them includes shmaring the receiver through which they access it. The person who is sincere about stopping the 3 patterns we named, who is ready to address the root cause at the level the root cause actually lives, and who understands that restoring the receiver is not a substitute for obedience, but the foundation on which genuine obedience becomes possible again. Colleagues of Dr. Barone describe this as incredible value at $500. In-person neurofeedback costs $300 per hour. Home machines run $7,000. The Genius Switch was released at $49. On this page today, an additional $10 off, $39, lifetime access. 4 free bonuses included at that price. An ironclad money-back guarantee with no conditions and no limits. Every week, the synchronization stays disrupted. Is another week the sacred assignments God is watching move through a receiver operating below its design. Not because the assignments are withdrawn, because the depth of engagement with them is limited by the capacity of the instrument. What he gave you deserves the full version of the receiver he gave it to. One thing worth naming: if you find similar tracks on streaming platforms, Dr. Barone studied them. Most had no synchronization technology embedded at all. The mechanism is what produces the result, and the mechanism only exists in what his team built. The link below points only to the verified source. If your spirit confirms what has been described, the path is in the description below and in the pinned comment, not anywhere else. You can read everything on their page before any decision is made. Every detail is laid out clearly. The tool does not replace God. It does not replace the obedience that Shema requires. The fire of the calling still belongs to you to tend. But a tool that restores the receiver gives the fire something to burn in that can sustain it. The deeper current of this message is where we return now. For the chosen one whose spirit confirmed what was described in this message, the door in the description and in the pinned comment is still open. A small step taken from a restored receiver has changed entire seasons for people carrying the same patterns we named. That is the only place I will mention it. What remains in this message belongs to something entirely different. I want to take you through a specific practice of return before we enter the closing. Not a general prayer. A specific interior act of reclaiming the position of the active steward of what God gave you. Begin by placing your feet flat on the ground where you are. Feel the contact. The chosen one, who is about to return to the active guarding of their assignment, does not float above it. They plant themselves in it, feet on the earth, hands open, spirit available. Now breathe in slowly. Let the breath carry with it an intention, and let the release of the breath carry out everything that has been accumulated in the operating below the call. Let the exhale be an act of releasing the patterns God is watching. Now here is the image I want you to hold. Picture the burning bush from where you are sitting, not as a historical event you are observing from a distance, as the thing that is burning right now in your life, the assignment that should have been consumed by the pressure of everything you have been through but was not, the calling that should have gone out under the weight of the formation but refused, the gift that stayed quietly, stubbornly, still present, still real, still assigned to you, even through the seasons when you were operating it below its capacity. That burning thing is still there, God did not remove it while the patterns were developing. He watched them develop, and he sent this word: the burning is still burning. And the question the burning bush always asks is the same question it asked Moses: will you turn aside? Will you give it the specific and full attention it is asking for? Because what God has to say to you right now, in this specific window, is waiting for the receiver to be clean enough to receive it. Here is the reframe for the three patterns God was watching. The drift toward comfort was the symptom. The sacred things treated as routine was the symptom. The eroding receptivity was the symptom. The root was a receiver operating below its design. And a receiver that is restored does not drift toward comfort in the same way, because the synchronized state makes the calling feel alive and compelling in a way that makes comfort alone feel insufficient. The person operating with whole brain activation active does not treat the sacred as routine, because the receiver that makes the sacred feel sacred is online. The person whose synchronization has been restored experiences their spiritual receptivity returning, which means the specific instruction, the directional pull, the burning bush interrupting the ordinary, becomes receivable again. This is not about becoming a different person. This is about the receiver being restored to the capacity it had when what was given was given. When God placed the calling in your hands, He placed it in the hands of someone whose receiver was designed for it. The restoration is not new ground, it is return. I am grateful for the chosen one who stayed with this message through the weight of what it named. The word that comes today is not the comfortable word, it is the necessary one. And the person who can receive a necessary word and sit in it, and not retreat from its weight, is the specific kind of chosen one who God does not remove from. The person God removes from is the one who, when confronted with what he is watching, continues unchanged. You chose differently. You turned aside. You are still here. I want to sit in this moment with the chosen one, carrying the weight of the patterns we named and the added weight of believing that God was disappointed. I want to say clearly, He was not disappointed. He was watching with patience. There is a profound difference between a God who removes what He gave in anger and a God who watches with patience until the chosen one receives the specific word that names what is happening and turns aside to address it at its root. What has been named today was not sent to condemn you. It was sent to reach you at the exact moment when the patterns were still reversible. This word is the patient watching finding its moment. And you, receiving it, is the turning aside that changes what happens next. And now, I want to speak something over you, not as the closing of a message, but as the opening of a new phase. I release from you now the weight of the patterns God was watching, the drift, the routine, the erosion. I release them from the identity of the chosen one standing here right now. They were never the truth about who you are. They were the symptoms of a receiver that was being restored in this season through this word. And I receive in their place the original posture of the active steward, the one who guards what was given with the attention and the gravity and the specific care that Shema requires, the one who tends the fire, the one who treats the sacred as sacred not through manufactured effort but through a restored interior capacity that makes the sacred feel like what it actually is, the one whose receiver is online, whose calling is alive, whose interior fire has been reignited, and whose burning bush has been answered. I am the one who turns aside when God interrupts the routine. I am the one who guards what was given with the attention it deserves. I am the one whose receiver is being restored to receive what God is sending. I am the chosen one, whose assignment is real and present and still burning. Type, I am restored in the comments if you receive that, because what you declare right now is the beginning of the season the patterns were about to interrupt. Gently press the like before you leave. For the chosen one in your life right now who is in the 3 patterns and does not have language yet for what is happening in them, let this reach them. If a specific person came to mind during this message, someone who is drifting, someone whose fire has dimmed, someone whose spiritual receptivity you have watched eroding, share this with them. That is an assignment. And the God who sent you this word sent it also for them. God is watching, and today He watched you turn aside, and that changes everything. And so it is.